I pray to God that none of the leaves of the plant that you are propped up on are in the camera's view, because there is only one chance for me to film this wrap-up video, and it's today. Hi, my name is Reagan, and today is my August wrap-up video. This month I read 10 books. Today was my first day of my senior year in high school, and I don't have a ton of time to film this because I have a super busy week with auditions and homework and first day of school stuff, so we're gonna go through this as quickly as I can. The first book I read in August was Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter, and I gave this 4 stars. It was a brother's best friend romance, and it starts with Olivia getting a text after her life has gone basically up in flames. She gets a text from a wrong number saying, "What are you wearing?" It was a really fun read, really quick one I read in my 24-hour readathon vlog. I DNF'd this once, I picked it up again. I just had to be in the mood for a really cute rom-com, and when I say rom-com, I mean rom-com, and if you are not into rom-coms, this is not for you. The second book I read in the month of August was Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've said this on my channel before, I don't like the remakes of the cover. I don't like the original cover either. This I rated 4 stars. It is a really popular book, a lot of people's favorite books ever. I have to disagree. It was pretty mediocre in my opinion, and that might make some people mad, but I'm sorry, I'm just not into the best friends to lovers kind of trope. Most of the time, especially in this book, I would have rather them remain friends than had any, I didn't feel the chemistry at all because they were such good friends. That's what I'm saying. I am not in the mindset to where if I have a really good friend, I'm ever in love with them. This trope just does not make sense to me. That is an unpopular opinion at the moment, but it is one that I have. This is about this girl named Macy and her parents buy a cabin somewhere, might be near a lake, might not be, I don't remember. Macy goes up there every summer, and this family of boys, specifically the one named Elliot, she makes really good friends with, and they bond over reading. This takes place in 2 timelines, the past and the present. The past where we're seeing the friendship with Elliot, and the present where we're seeing the run-in after a big event happened that ripped their lives apart. They haven't seen each other in, 7, 12 something years, a number of years, and we don't know why or what happened. And it was a mediocre romance book, and I gave it 4 stars because I can see why people would like it, but the Prince to Lovers trope is just not for me. We have another Friends to Lovers trope. We've got People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is extremely similar to Love in Other Words. I rated this 3 stars. This was a reread, by the way. Basically, this is about Poppy and Alec. They've been friends, and every summer they take a vacation together. Something has ripped them apart, and we're following the past, going through each vacation they've taken, and the present, where Poppy asks Alex to take one more vacation together. Again, the Friends to Lovers is just not it for me. I like them way more as friends, and this is continually happening in every Friends to Lovers book. I also just didn't particularly like the characters in this one at all. I didn't relate to Poppy. I didn't relate to Alex. I just didn't fall in love with the characters. It was not a bad book. Again, I can see why this is one of people's favorite Emily Henry books, but I was just not there. I was not in that mindset, not my trope. All right, next we've got The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. This is the 4th book I read this month, and I rated it 4 stars. This was the 2nd book in the Off-Campus series. I didn't like this one as much as the first one, but I did really enjoy this. This series is about a bunch of hockey players. They play for this hockey team, and it follows each of the teammates that live in this one house and their relationships, finding a relationship. They're all players, and then there's one girl that turns them not into a player, reverses them, changes them, that trope. I really enjoy the series. Is it objectively good? No. Is it fun to read? Yes. This one follows John Logan and Grace. There's a lot of family issues and alcoholism in this book, so beware of that. This is very much an I can fix him kind of relationship, as they all are. If you like sports romances, I recommend these ones. I think they're great. Then we have my 3rd Friends to Lovers book this month, and 5th book total this month, and that's Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I rated this 3 stars. This is Love in Other Words Walmart version. Actually, I'm lying. I would honestly, if I read this before Love in Other Words, I would like this one better. I know that. But I rated it 3 stars. It was the same book as Love in Other Words. I just liked the setting better because it was at a lake house. I enjoyed the characters better. Follows Percy and Sam. I thought Percy was really annoying and not the best friend to Sam. Basically, like I said, Love in Other Words, same plot. I just couldn't get the fact out of my head that it was literally the same book. I also like this cover way better. So next, my 6th book I read, Soundbite by Sarah Harbison. I've been reading this for like 4 or 5 months now, and I'm so happy that it's no longer just sitting on my bedside table waiting for me to read it. I annotated it. Obviously, this is a book about the admissions process in college and not how to get into college, but advice from a former admissions officer at Penn State, University of Penn, UPenn, I don't know, somewhere in Pennsylvania. I thought this was really informative. A lot of good activities that kind of get you thinking about the essay and about your whole application in general. Very good advice, but I hated reading this book, the actual process of reading it, because the admissions process stresses me out immensely. So I actually, like, every time I picked up this book, it was like stepping on nails. Like, I just got so anxious when I was reading this. Would I recommend it to a person currently going through the admissions process? No. Would I recommend it to someone who will be going through this in the future? Yes. Nice writing, good book. I'm sorry, that was my brother. The camera angle might have changed. That's what I was trying to beat for this video, was my brother getting home. My brother is so freaking loud. This is what I was trying to avoid. Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This was the 7th book I read this month. I read this on an audiobook and physically at the same time, just because this was a very hard book to comprehend. So I feel like I grasped harder ideas better over audio. This book was phenomenal. Just look at all the awards it's won. That kind of speaks for itself, and the cover I think is gorgeous. This is about Lily and Kat. Lily lives in Chinatown in San Francisco. Kat is a girl who goes to the same school as Lily. Kat kind of introduces Lily to this whole new world of the Telegraph Club, where Lily finds out that not everybody is straight and that some women like other women. Basically, she just finds this whole new world. She finds the LGBTQ plus community. This book is extremely hard to read, but I fully recommend everyone to read this. If you look up the trigger warnings and it's okay for you, then I fully recommend this. I'm not going to say anything else. I feel like all the awards this book has just on the front tells you how much this book deserves to be read. I don't know if I said, but I gave it 5 stars. Next, I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I actually don't have it with me because my aunt is borrowing it. The Inheritance Games follows a girl who is called out of school and finds out that this billionaire left her his whole inheritance. But the only stipulation is that she has to live in the mansion with his family for 1 year. Basically a mystery, trying to figure out why she has received this huge fortune. And the house that they're living in, the Hawthorne house, has all these mysteries and riddles and secret passageways, and it's very mysterious, and the grandfather set up this whole game for them to see why the inheritance was given to this girl, and the grandsons kind of get involved. It's very thrilling, very fun. It's a YA book, and you can definitely tell that in the writing and the plot. You can definitely tell where it's YA, but I still enjoyed it. 5 stars. The love triangle in here, I wouldn't say, I don't know how to explain it. I normally don't like love triangles, but this one was just different. Between the girl and the grandson Jameson and the grandson Grayson. Now, I'm going to give my opinion. This is no spoilers for the book because a lot of people go either way, but I liked Grayson better. Yeah, I definitely recommend this. Then I read a memoir called Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is a memoir, obviously, about Glennon, her basically changing her life. She found out her husband was cheating on her, and then later finds out that she is in love with this woman, and so she leaves her husband, marries this woman, and how it affects her family and her kids, and how she kind of parents her kids through this big event, and how she parents her kids through a lot of events. This book focuses very heavily on parenting, which I thought was interesting because I kind of learned more about my mother, I think, because I am not a parent yet, so I couldn't relate to that, but it was interesting to see everything from a parent's perspective. The writing was extremely lyrical, but I didn't enjoy how she told the story as much. It was very much she told one specific story and then went off into metaphors about the story and what they kind of meant to her. But I rated this 5 stars because I don't feel comfortable rating someone's life lower than 5 stars. Like, this was her life and this is very much her story, and so I feel bad being like 1 star. It wasn't a 1 star. I wouldn't have rated it that. But it wasn't my favorite memoir I've read, but I'm still going to rate it 5 stars because I can't rate someone's life negatively. It was also hard for me to read because Glennon Doyle is religious and she talks a lot about Christianity and religion. I have different beliefs than her, so it wasn't hard for me to read. It was just her own advice in life I didn't agree with just because we don't see eye to eye, and that's fine. That's no fault of hers and no fault of mine. We just have a difference in opinions, and that's okay. It just made reading the book a little bit of a different experience for me than it might for someone with the same religion or beliefs as her. Let's move on to the last and 10th book I read this month, and that was The Princess Saves Herself, and this one by Amanda Lovelace. This is a poetry collection about Amanda Lovelace's life, and this I rated 5 stars as well. I didn't rate it 5 stars because it was objectively good, which I honestly wouldn't know because I don't read poetry often enough to know. But I rated this 5 stars because, again, this was very much her life story and talked about a lot about her own personal trauma, and I feel like I don't have any right to rate her trauma negatively. Anyone who's brave enough to tell their life story, in my opinion, deserves 5 stars. I tabbed my favorite poems. If you're going to read that book, that poetry collection, I highly recommend that you look up trigger warnings because it talks about a lot of hard topics that I didn't expect. It was very hard for me to read, and I'm not someone who is triggered easily. That is where I'm going to end this video. I hope this was a really quick wrap up. I had to do it fast. I hope I'm on time or else I'm going to be late to piano. I hope you guys had a great reading month this August. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you just started back school at your school, it's going good. If you'd like to keep up with my reading on a more daily basis, you can check out my Goodreads in the link below. If you'd like, you can also check out some more of my content. If not, that's totally chill. Thank you for watching this video today, and I hope it didn't turn out completely like crap. Thank you for watching. Bye.